Hi class, my name is Faith Varner and today I'm going to be talking about the history of the horse. Horses have been around for nearly 50 million years. Throughout this time, they have not only played a significant role in my life, but a significant role in serving and aiding humans in the development of the world that we live in today. As many of you know, horses have been my whole world ever since I can remember. For the last 15 years, I've been pursuing and learning everything I can about them. I even decided to go to college for them. I believe that in order to excel in any career and be able to create any type of new future, it is vital to know the history and past of said career path. There's no better place to start than the beginning. The Eohippus was the first known horse. They lived in North America and Europe during the early part of the Eocene epoch and stood at 30 to 60 centimeters high. Their hind legs were longer than their forelegs. They had a lightly constructed body with 4 toes in the front and 3 in the back. The Eohippus and later evolutions such as the Oleohippus and Meryhippus were simply just existed with no real purpose but providing meat for other animals and early humans. The first evidence of domestication. The first evidence of domestication of the horse was found in the western part of the Eurasian steppes, from the Botai culture. This location had shards of pottery, traces of mare's milk, mass grave sites of horses, and evidence of round pens which captured horses were kept in. Now, if you've ever run around a wild horse or seen a wild horse, you know there's no way possible to milk one without having any type of connection or bond or trust with them. Because of this concept in DNA tests, it has been proved that the remaining residue in the pottery found at this site was in fact mare's milk, and the Botai culture were the first people to domesticate the horse. Greek war and myths. At this time, there was not many horses that lived on the land. It was extremely expensive to take care of them, and they were limited in numbers, which made them extremely special. Horses at this time were used for sport, hunting, and military campaigns, also used for battle. But it wasn't until 1500 BC where horses were brought to pull chariots in war, but it took another 6 centuries for warriors to ride them in a battle. Horses at this time were also linked to Greek gods such as Poseidon and linked to many stories and historical moments such as the Trojan horse. The Romans. Horses were vital to daily Roman life. They were a means of transport, cultural value, and financial value. The ability to train and ride horses showed your courage, self-control, and mastery of the wild. Like almost every culture, Romans had used horses for battle. The Romans were able to create specific routines in battle with the help of horses with speed and efficiency. One of the big things from this time period was chariot racing. Some chariot races had religious ties, others were held for purposes of reenacting war stories or simply for entertainment. Chariot racing was a big part of this time period. Medieval times. So during the medieval times, a variety of workhorses were used through the Middle Ages. They carried equipment and belongings from place to place, were used for hunting, pleasure, and agriculture, war, and more. The most memorable and popular use of the horse was jousting. Jousting was when 2 knights fully decked out in heavy armor charged each other on horseback with wooden lances. The goal is to hit each other rider as hard as possible in hopes of breaking the lance of the opponent or jousting armor, if possible, unhorsing him. Jousting tournaments were an important opportunity for heroic display, general pageantry, and this chance for a knight to impress an aristocrat lady who would show her favor by giving a scarf or veil. Here is one of the first and most famous events where horses were used primarily for entertainment purposes. Think of our modern day Kentucky Derby and that type of things. In 1519, Hernan Cortez was one of the first people to reintroduce horses to the American continents as they had died out in the past. The Battle of Scylla was the first battle on the American continent where horses were used. When horses returned to the grasslands, they helped the Plains Indian reshape their culture overnight. So Hernan Cortez brought over around 50 horses, and some of them did end up escaping. And that brings us to our next time period. The Native American and their horses. Natives got a hold of loose Spanish horses and claimed as their own. Horses soon replaced dogs as pack animals, enabled people to transport many more goods. With the help of horses, Native Americans could now chase down buffalo and any other prey animal for their meat and hide. Many tribes stated they relied strictly on horses, so much they abandoned agriculture as a whole and focused on full-time equestrian hunting. During the Civil War, it was estimated 1,500,000 horses and mules were killed or died of disease. Horses became targets more than enemy combats because without horses, artillery became passive objects of heavy metal. Without these mounts, it was nearly impossible to transport any and move anything. Horses were not only means of transportation at this time, but they were compassionate animals. The men were alone in the war, and their horses became special to them. World War I. It was an estimated around 750,000 horses were killed in this war. It's not as much as the Civil War, but it's still a lot. Again, with this, they cared so much about the animals. You can see here that they were loading a horse up to go to their veterinary hospitals, which they had created. Besides being targeted and shot, many horses died from overworking or disease. During World War I, horses acquired many different jobs compared to the Civil War. They pulled supplies, ammunition, artillery, and the wounded. Horses today. The once feared and brave war horse has a completely different purpose now. Horses have become one of our Olympic events, having with show jumping, cross country, and dressage. There's also other events such as Western riding, hunter jumpers, which is what I do, and just compassionate fun riding. Horses have also become a means of therapy for many disabled people, disabled children, and amputees. And it is a great means of therapy. They're also just a means of money, fame, and companionship, as you can see here. To wrap up, from now on, you should not only think of horses as just any other animal or something to be afraid of. We have to thank them for their countless battles, years worth of shows and entertainment, compassion, companionship, and something to be cherished. Horses might not be a huge part of your life and career, but they really are so beautiful and amazing and really interesting to learn about. Horses might not be something that you do every day, but I really hope that you learn something. And yeah, thank you.